What if the only way to save your ranch was to join forces with the very people you don't trust? And what if one tragic death uncovered a secret powerful enough to change everything? That's exactly what happened in Dutton Ranch Episode 5, an episode that may not have had the biggest action scenes of the season, but it quietly set the stage for what could become the most explosive conflict yet. While Beth and Rip struggle to rebuild after devastating losses, Carter finds himself caught in a tragedy that could haunt him forever. New alliances are formed, old enemies become even more dangerous, and hidden truths begin to emerge from the shadows. By the end of this episode, one thing becomes clear. The battle for the future of the ranch is far from over. Let's dive into everything that happened in Episode 5. The episode begins with the Dutton family still dealing with the devastating consequences of losing their herd. For generations, cattle represented more than money. They represented security, tradition, and survival. Without them, the future of the ranch suddenly feels uncertain. For perhaps the first time, we see Rip Wheeler facing a problem he cannot solve through hard work alone. Rip has always been the man with answers. The man who stays calm when everyone else falls apart. But now the situation is different. The ranch needs money, stability, and a plan for survival. The weight of that responsibility hangs heavily on Rip's shoulders throughout the episode. What makes these scenes so powerful is that they remind viewers that even the strongest people can reach a point where determination alone isn't enough. The ranch is wounded. And if something doesn't change soon, it may never recover. Faced with few options, Rip makes a decision that nobody expected. He accepts a position working for Beulah Jackson at the rival 10 Petal Ranch. For longtime fans, this moment feels almost impossible. Rip's loyalty has always been unquestionable. Seeing him work anywhere other than the Dutton Ranch feels strange. Yet Rip understands something important. Pride doesn't feed cattle. Pride doesn't save land. Pride doesn't protect the people he loves. If working for Beulah can help secure a future for Beth and the ranch, then he's willing to do it. When Rip arrives at the 10 Petal Ranch, he immediately recognizes problems everywhere. The workers lack discipline. The operation lacks leadership. And the current foreman, Chet, appears completely overwhelmed. It doesn't take long for Rip to take control. His calm authority quickly changes the atmosphere. The workers begin listening. Standards begin rising. Eventually, Chet is removed from his position, and Rip effectively becomes the leader the ranch desperately needed. The scenes perfectly remind viewers why Rip Wheeler remains one of the most respected characters in the Yellowstone universe. He doesn't demand respect. He earns it. While Rip focuses on ranch operations, Beth begins fighting a battle of her own. And as always, Beth's battlefield is strategy. Most people expected Beth to treat Beulah Jackson as an enemy. Instead, she surprises everyone by proposing a partnership. At first glance, the idea seems impossible. Beth rarely trusts anyone. She certainly doesn't trust powerful business rivals. But Beth sees an opportunity. Rather than fighting a costly war, she suggests building something that benefits both sides. She approaches Beulah with a business plan centered around creating a premium beef brand that could generate enormous profits. The conversation between these two women is one of the highlights of the episode. Neither wants to appear weak. Neither is willing to surrender control. Every sentence feels like a chess move. Every smile hides suspicion. Yet despite the tension, they reach an agreement. At least for now. The partnership could save both ranches. Or it could create an even bigger disaster later. Because when powerful people work together, conflict is never far away. While Beth and Rip focus on rebuilding, Carter experiences the most emotional storyline of the episode. Throughout recent episodes, Carter has developed a bond with Dwight White. Dwight became more than a friend. He became a mentor. Someone Carter respected. Someone who provided guidance when he needed it most. Their relationship brought warmth and humanity to the series, which makes what happens next even more heartbreaking. During what appears to be a normal day, law enforcement suddenly arrives. What if the Dutton Ranch is already infected and nobody knows it yet? What if Yellowstone's biggest threat isn't a rival family, but a deadly outbreak spreading across Montana? What if the Dutton Ranch is already infected and nobody knows it yet? What if Yellowstone's biggest threat isn't a rival family, but a deadly outbreak spreading across Montana? Tension escalates quickly. Before Carter can fully understand what's happening, Dwight is shot and killed. The moment is shocking, not only because of the loss itself, but because something feels wrong about the entire situation. The official explanation suggests that Dwight posed a threat, but Carter witnesses details that don't seem to match the story being told. As the chaos unfolds, Carter is left traumatized and confused.
He knows what he saw.
And what he saw doesn't make sense. This tragedy changes Carter forever. The young man who entered the episode searching for guidance leaves it carrying a burden that may define the rest of his journey. One of the biggest questions coming out of Episode 5 involves Dwight's death. Was it truly an unfortunate accident? Or was something far more sinister taking place? The episode deliberately leaves room for interpretation, and that has already sparked countless fan theories. Some viewers believe Dwight knew information that made him dangerous. Others think his death may somehow connect to the problems currently affecting the Duttons. Could powerful individuals be working behind the scenes? Could someone be manipulating events to weaken everyone connected to the ranch? The writers clearly want viewers asking these questions, and the mystery surrounding Dwight's death may become one of the season's most important storylines. If Carter decides to investigate further, he could uncover truths that place him in serious danger. One of the most emotional moments arrives later in the episode. Rip finally reveals a secret he has been carrying. It's the kind of confession that could easily destroy a relationship. But Beth and Rip have never had an ordinary relationship. Their bond has survived pain, loss, violence, and countless challenges. Instead of creating conflict, the conversation strengthens their connection. Beth listens. Rip opens up. And viewers are reminded why these two characters remain at the heart of the story. Their relationship isn't built on perfection. It's built on honesty, loyalty, and understanding. Even when the truth is difficult. Especially when the truth is difficult. At first glance, episode May 5th seems slower than previous installments. There are fewer fights, less action, fewer shocking twists. But beneath the surface, this episode changes everything. Rip begins a new chapter at the 10-Petal Ranch. Beth forms an alliance that could reshape the future. Carter loses someone important and becomes connected to a growing mystery. And questions surrounding Dwight's death suggest a much larger conflict may be developing behind the scenes. This isn't a filler episode. It's a setup episode. The calm before the storm. Every major storyline moves into a new direction. And every decision made here will likely have massive consequences later. Dutton Ranch Episode 5 proves that great storytelling doesn't always rely on action. Sometimes the most important battles happen through conversations, choices, and consequences. Beth and Rip may have found a temporary solution to their problems, but their future remains uncertain. Carter now carries painful knowledge that could place him in danger. And the mystery surrounding Dwight's death continues to grow darker with every passing moment. If Episode 5 taught us anything, it's this. The Duttons are entering a new phase of the war. The enemies are becoming harder to identify. The stakes are becoming higher. And the next few episodes could change everything.